So we're standing in the middle of a South Frame project, one of the city anchor projects, outlined way back when now and with the blueprint. The design and engineering was let to a consortium called CitySense South, and that was made up of a number of organisations, AECOM, Jasmax and LandLab. And so we obviously led or helped them through the process of getting these designs put in place and put into the ground.
Generally, I'd say it's been a pretty good process. We've had lots of really good collaboration and worked really closely, obviously, with Cam and the team at Ōtākaro. And I think the result's starting to speak for itself. We wanted to create a space that was really uniquely or very much a Christchurch-centric space. Obviously, we've got the Port Hills over here to the south, and I mean that's a pretty strong navigational tool for anyone who comes to Christchurch. You find the Port Hills, you know where south is, and you can make your way around pretty easily. This part of the city was traditionally quite I guess it sort of turned its back a wee bit, big block development and not very leaky, for want of a better word. And what we've done here is tried to provide these laneways and these movement corridors that are really enable the leakiness and the movement through this part of town and linking into the new compact CBD. There's some really strong key narratives within the design. This is known as the Greenway, and the Greenway is really one big river analogy. The Greenway itself is sort of this east-west movement through effectively a braided river which has come from local native greywackies and pixelated those edges. The north-south laneways are formed using basalt, which reflects the nature of the rock to the hills. And then we've got these distinctive spaces, these yard spaces in the middle here, which we hope will act as a real catalyst to bring development to this part of the city, with it's a little bit more gritty, a little bit more industrial, and hopefully promote that sort of that development in the future. We'll notice on the ground we've looked at the introduction of pounamu to sort of really reinforce some of those ideas of the river systems and the pounamu trail east-west through Te Waipounamu. We look at using precious stone clusters of basalt, of sandstone and other materials that are really important to local iwi. The furnishing, all of the furnishings, all of those things themselves are sort of crafted based on this idea of the story of stone, with chisels and hauanga stones and those sorts of things, which were used traditionally by Maori people, even down to the use of the greywacki mulch in the garden beds, which reflects the coomera pits and also obviously helps to retain some of that warmth and moisture for establishment of plant growth. And then the other real key narrative, I think, was known as ecosystem services, which is more about the planting strategy. So that sort of all comes back to this idea of creating this urban garden. So we want this idea of this urban sort of corridor, but with this really green feel. So it's this idea of an urban garden, and looking at the underlying geography of the area, looking at the soil types, the species that would have grown and thrived here pre-human, and really again working closely with Matapaipuri and iwi and all horticultural specialists, etc., to make sure the selections that we've chosen are really reflective of that sense of place.
And it's going to be visible through space, isn't it, in terms of having some botanical markers, interpretation signage to actually tell some of these stories, which from the eye you might not pick up, but it's definitely embedded in the design. So it's sort of, you can walk through the space and learn about it as you move through it.